So I was wrong about game 2 of the NBA Finals. I was wrong about the side. I was wrong about the total. San Antonio was a big ticket for me on Friday night. And San Antonio at times looked like they were going to pull away in that ballgame. Instead, it was the Knicks who were the better team throughout. It was the Knicks who made the key plays down the stretch. Or it was saying, you guys watched it. You know what happened. The Knicks were the better team, period. And San Antonio obviously made the crucial mistake at the end of the game with Wembanyama's turnover. But they were never really in the second half of that game in position to cover the point spread. All right, San Antonio was not the right side in that game, and I was wrong about my pick on San Antonio. And one thing I like about WagerTalk, I genuinely respect about WagerTalk, we don't hide from results. I lost my big ticket play. All right, I don't win them all. I won't win them all moving forward. Over the long term, we do expect them to win. On Friday night, I was wrong. That being said, that's rearview mirror now. How do we approach game 3? And especially if you're wrong about game 2, if you're coming off a loss in game 2, do you flip? Do you stay the same track with San Antonio? Let's talk about it. Side and total for game 3 on Monday night. I'm Ted Savransky. Teddy covers from WagerTalk.com. And let's start by looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen. Right now, I'm seeing a split line. I'm seeing there 2s, New York -2, and New York -2.5. Total sitting in the 215.5 range. There are some 216.5s right now. Both DK and FanDuel are at 216.5. The rest of the market's mostly 215.5 for that total. So what we've seen, obviously, with this series shifting to New York, what we've seen is a power rating shift as well. For the game 1 line of this series, Knicks aren't favored in any game. Now that the Knicks are up 2-0 and looking like they're the better team, we've seen the power rating adjustment. A couple of points towards New York and against San Antonio. And that's why the Knicks are chalk here. From a total standpoint, this has been ticking down. We saw as high as 219.5 and then 218.5 for game 2, and now we're seeing 215.5. So the market's adjusting to not necessarily the pace, but to the lower scoring nature of the NBA Finals. And of course, if you look at the NBA Finals over the last decade, if you're betting unders, you've been doing very, very well. I believe something like 30-13 to the under. It's really been a fairly significant under betting trend. And of course, 2-0 already here in the playoffs. I'm going to start with the side standpoint here. And again, kind of like I did in my last video, I'm going to make a case for both sides. Conceptually here, the case for the Knicks is pretty clear. All right. New York's experience. They just look like the more comfortable, confident team in these difficult spots. And they have throughout the course of the postseason. They have in each of the first 2 games. When you rally from a double-digit deficit, it's only happened twice in the history of the NBA where teams rally from a double-digit deficit in each of the first 2 games to win in the NBA Finals. When a team does that on the road in the first 2 games, this is kind of stuff that hasn't happened until the 70s. Hasn't happened since the 70s. So it's pretty rare what the Knicks have been able to do. And a lot of that, most of that, at least in my opinion, has to do with their experience. New York has gone through the traditional NBA way of winning a title. You build a team, you get a playoff win, you get a couple of playoff series wins, you reach a conference final the next year, boom. You get one addition or something like that, and you break through and go into a title. Whereas San Antonio hadn't won a series or a playoff game this decade. And that lack of experience, that lack of continuity. Boy, I mean, you just can't picture the Knicks, whether it's Cat, whether it's Mitchell Robinson, whoever got the ball, you can't picture him throwing it off the back of Jalen Brunson's back and then turnover with 15 seconds left, or 5 seconds left last night. You know what I'm talking about. You can't, because the Knicks have been together. When you're talking about a team that is built up, we talk about 3 core guys who went to school together at Nova and won title there. Yeah, that type of chemistry, you can't. It means something, and it's meant something in this final. And even though San Antonio has had the athleticism edge, the Knicks have found ways to hit tough shots And there's no question when you talk about, this is what I got wrong for game two in terms of core philosophies. The Knicks have been the undervalued commodity of the postseason. The betting markets haven't truly caught up with A, their improved level of play, and B, their ability to control flow against their opponents. And really, it stood out game 3 in Philadelphia. That was the one that said that the Knicks were like, all right, maybe this Knicks team is real. And since then, obviously, they've been just dynamite. Won every game, covered every point spread. The Knicks are on fire right now, and it's an easy case to make for the Knicks. They have looked like the better team, even though if you grade out New York personnel-wise player by player, maybe not so much. But look, I mean, when you have Landry Shamet doing what he's done here in the postseason, Miles McBride hit the big 3 last night. Bridges has had a huge series. Towns has been giving Wemby all kinds of problems. Towns has made a case for MVP in this series so far. Anobi hit 5 shots and hit a couple of threes last night and all over the floor and the steals and the blocks. The Knicks role players, and I haven't mentioned Josh Hart, obviously, but the Knicks role players have done really well in this series. They played really well in each of the first 2 games. And, of course, in theory, you expect the role players to play better at home. So we expect more from McBride and Shamet and Alvarado and the likes for the Knicks in this ballgame. Maybe less so for San Antonio. So it's an easy case to make for the Knicks. For the Spurs, you want to make a case. Number one, in theory, you're getting a line value. A team that wasn't supposed to be a dog in any game in this series is now a dog. San Antonio, off a loss, has been the single best point spread team in the NBA this season, period. No team better than the Spurs off a loss. Their longest losing streak since January. I don't know when the last time they lost 3 in a row. I know they haven't lost more than 2 in a row since January. And that includes the postseason. They lost 2 in a row to OKC in the Western Conference Finals games 2 and 3, and then rallied back to win that series. But Spurs off back-to-back losses, they've been good. And of course, when you read the quotes coming out of San Antonio's locker room, it's not like they were far away in game 2. It's not like this team's lost their confidence or lost their mojo. They've been real good on the highway. And there's a legit case to be made for the Spurs in this game as well as the Knicks. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do sideways. I do know what I'm going to do total-wise in this ballgame. So let's go there. Before I do that, we really appreciate the likes, the comments, the follows. Thank you for your support of WagerTalk TV. If you haven't done so, give us a like, give us a comment, give us a follow, and best of luck with all your bets. You can check out my homepage, WT.buzz/TC. Everything's transparent. Everything's real. I've been in Vegas since 1998, betting on sports full time. There's a reason I've lasted this long. Check it out. Again, WT.buzz/TC or visit WagerTalk.com. From a total standpoint, again, we've seen the total get bet down. It was 218.5, now 216.5, now 215.5. The pace has been there in the first 2 games of this series. The 3-point attempts have certainly been there. They didn't make any of them in game 1. Game 2, they made enough threes to get the game up and over the total. But there was one key factor that hurt the total bettors, over bettors in that ballgame, and that was that the refs really swallowed their whistles. Game 2 was extraordinarily physical. The 2 teams beat each other up, and the refs watched them beat each other up. It was no foul fest. There was no game where the refs determined the outcome. And there was certainly no game in which either team perhaps got to the free throw line as much as they could have or should have. It's not like they didn't get there at all. We saw 16-21 for the Knicks from the charity stripe and 19 from 27 from the Spurs from the charity stripe. So combined 48 attempts. That being said, if you watch the game, you know that there were 43 foul calls. There could easily have been 53 or 63 foul calls in that ballgame. Neither team got to the free throw line perhaps as much as they should. And there was a bit of whining and complaining about the physical nature of that contest. In this game 3, where it's do or die for San Antonio, I'm expecting them to play with pace. I'm expecting them to get to the free throw line. Maybe they'll even shoot better than they did. And the Knicks are going to make their free throws when they get there. So, bottom line for me, game 3, over the total is what I'm looking. I'm expecting pace like we've seen. I'm expecting made threes, and I'm expecting enough from the charity stripe to give us a reason to go against the long-term trend of unders in the finals. Game 3 smells like a over to this better, and that's the way I'm looking. Thank you so much for watching WagerTalk TV. Again, we really appreciate the comments, the likes, and the follows. Stay tuned right on this channel, WagerTalk TV, for more quality video content. And best of luck with all your bets this weekend, Monday, and beyond. Cheers.